All right, guys, so we're going to go ahead and start our writing today. So remember, we're going to be writing personal narratives. So I can write a true story about me. So you guys are going to be writing a true story about yourselves. So yesterday, we chose a small moment. Remember, we chose that little watermelon seed. And then we wrote a beginning for our story. So you wrote the beginning to a true story about yourselves. Now, let's go ahead and read what I had yesterday. So I went ahead and put it on our paper for us. And I wrote, one day I went to McDonald's. I was so thirsty. And I put a period at the end of each of my sentences and I capitalized the beginning. So yesterday we wrote the beginning to our story. So what do you think we're going to write today? Yeah, so today we're going to be writing the middle. And our learning target for today is I can write a story across 3 or more pages using transition words. So let's go ahead and read that with me. Ready? I can write a story across 3 or more pages using transition words. Okay, so I'm going to hang our transition word poster up, and this is the same exact one from our classroom. So these are our transition words, or our words that we use in the middle of our story, and these are the words that we can use in the to start the beginning or the middle of our story. So we can use words like first, next, then, suddenly, so, and, but, or eventually. All right, so before we start that, I would like to look at these little examples. So remember what this is called? This right here, it's called the story mountain. Okay, so yesterday we worked on the beginning, so we were right here on the story mountain, and then we and now today we're going to be walking up and writing the middle of our story. So this was yesterday, and today we're writing right here, okay? Or if you would like, you can think about this one in the story sandwich. So yesterday we wrote right here, we wrote the beginning. Now today, we are going to be working on our condiments. We are going to be writing our middle. So you guys need to make sure you have 3 pages ready for our middle. And we're going to be using transition words, okay? So we can think about our story mountain. Or we can be thinking about our story sandwich, okay? So yesterday, we wrote about going to McDonald's. Now remember, when we're writing in the middle, we want to stay with one tiny story. So we don't want to jump around and write a bunch of little stories. We want to stay with our one tiny story. So I'm going to stay and write about what I did when I went to McDonald's. So my first page is right here. And all right, so here's my first page to my middle. Now look, I have 3 pages for the middle of my story. You guys need to make sure you have 3 pages too. And I'm going to be using transition words on every page. So my first page, I wrote, first, I drove up to the drive-thru. I ordered my regular, a large coffee. Now I'm going to highlight this right here. Now, I highlighted this word right here because it is a transition word. It's the word we use in the middle of our stories. Please make sure you start with a transition word and a capital letter. So I said, first I drove up to the drive-thru. I ordered my regular, a large coffee. I wrote large in bold because I wanted to make sure you guys knew that I got a large coffee. Okay, then I went to my next page because remember, we're writing across 3 or more pages. And look, I started with another transition word. I'm going to highlight that. You guys do not highlight them at home. I'm just doing that to make sure you guys know that I'm starting with my transition words and a capital letter. So I wrote, then I drove up to the next window. The worker handed me a steaming hot coffee, and I put a period at the very end of my sentence. So please make sure we're staying in the same small moment. So I didn't talk about then I drove away and I went somewhere else. I still am at McDonald's and I'm still getting the coffee. Okay, so we're going to stay in that small moment. We're going to go to the third page, and I wrote another transition word. So the transition word I used here is suddenly. So I wrote, suddenly I took a big drink and spit it out everywhere. So I still stayed in that small moment, and I talked about how I took a really big drink and spit it out everywhere. So remember, we're writing across 3 pages for our middle, but we still have our beginning for yesterday. So I'm going to go back and reread my whole story for you guys. That way we can see if it goes all together, and we can check over our work while we're doing it. So my story says, one day I went to McDonald's. I was so thirsty. First, I drove up to the drive-thru. I ordered my regular, a large coffee. Now I went to my next page. Then I drove up to the next window. The worker handed me a steaming hot coffee. Then I went to my third page. Suddenly, I took a big drink and spit it out everywhere. Okay. So remember, we're still at this very top of our story mountain, or if you would like to think about it this way, we're still in that condiments in the middle of our sandwich. So tomorrow we're going to be working on our ending, but today we're writing across 3 pages for the middle. So when you are done, you can send it on Class Dojo to Mrs. Booz, and she will look over it. I cannot wait to read your guys' stories. I'm going to show you this transition page one more time so that you guys know. Remember, we can use first, next, then, suddenly, so, and, but, or eventually. Please start your pages with these transition words. I hope you guys are having a great day. Bye.